Welcome to this episode of History Hunters. I'm at Westwood Memorial Park in Placerville, California, in the mountains above Sacramento, California. I'm here to visit the graves of two famous people that you may have heard about in the past. One being the grave of a TV star, and the other an alpine Olympic skier by the name of Spider Sabich, who was killed in Aspen, Colorado in 1976. He's buried here because he grew up not very far from here in Kybers. I'm also going to be looking for the grave of Ralph Taeger, who is a TV star. He starred in the Western TV series Hondo in 1967. He retired from acting and he settled here in Placerville, and he's buried here in this cemetery. This is a beautiful mountain cemetery high up in the hills. There's a lot of oak trees and there's a lot of pine trees around here as well. And in this section here at the top of the hill is where Ralph Taeger is buried. You'll find his grave down here. I just saw it, and interestingly it says Ralph Hondo. There is a picture of him and his horse atop of this marker. He passed away in 2015. As you can see, there's a space for his wife, who has not passed away. She was born in 1942. Now, Ralph was born in Queens, New York. He grew up and he always wanted to play baseball. A knee injury prevented him from doing that. So because of his good looks, somebody had remarked that he should go into modeling or possibly TV. So that's what he did. He headed to Los Angeles, where he started finding roles in TV. He was actually featured in a number of episodes of Highway Patrol with Broderick Crawford. Like actor Harrison Ford, when he tried to break into acting, Taeger was not afraid to work. In fact, he was polishing floors at a Van Nuys drugstore and was determined to go into maintenance work if TV didn't work out. His first TV series as the lead was Klondike. It was a half-hour Western adventure series set in Alaska during the gold rush of 1897. Taeger played Mike Halliday, a rugged prospector.
Restrain yourself. Oh, Michael, you're an angel. I don't know how to thank you.
I do. Give him 20% of the bathhouse.
Oh, no, thanks. You are a very apt pupil in the field of criminal detection. Have you ever thought of making this your life work?
Judge, I feel like I just did.
Mamie, do I still get that free bath?
Anytime, Michael.
Klondike ran for 18 episodes in the 1960-61 TV series, and on that show he worked with actress Joey Lansing, the actress from Utah who was famous for her pinup photos. He also worked with actor Robert Taylor. Klondike was canceled mid-season. Ralph and his co-star James Coburn were immediately picked up for a new series, Acapulco, in which they played beachcombers in Mexico. That show did worse, running only 8 episodes before it was canceled. I bet Ralph was feeling somewhat dejected as an actor at that point. A story editor named Richard Donovan told TV Guide magazine that Ralph was stupid, he couldn't remember his lines, said he was dumb and way over his head in acting. In 1965, he started in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. In 1967, he starred in the TV series Hondo. It only lasted 17 episodes. It started in September 1967 and made it a couple of months to December when it was canceled. Part of the reason the Hondo didn't make it as far as the TV series is the fact that they pitted it against the very popular Gomer Pyle and Star Trek. Now, how would you expect that a Western was going to compete with those two shows? You got to remember at the time the Vietnam War was going on, and I think Westerns were starting to go on the decline a little bit. Star Trek, very popular. Didn't have a chance. It's my understanding that you typically have to have 100 episodes of a TV show before it's syndicated, but I understand that Get TV is running the reruns of Hondo, the TV series, even though there was only 17 or 18 episodes. If you binge watched it, you could probably finish all 17 episodes in about 2 weeks.
That's the man.
Get TV presents A Word on Hondo.
MGM, there was a fellow under contract there named Ralph Taeger.
Make room, fellas. I'd like to cut myself in.
When I saw this guy in the Carpetbaggers, I couldn't take my eyes off him.
Right now I got a lucky feeling, mister.
He was built like Tarzan. He looked something like Randolph Scott, and he had a voice like Humphrey Bogart.
Something I gotta do.
If that guy wasn't a television star, I never met one.
You must be Hondo Lane.
I said, oh, here we go with Ralph. So I shot a 10-minute presentation, 4 scenes that I had written.
Which one muscle and I'll blow your head off, Saldana.
And Ralph was terrific.
Ralph told reporters one time that he couldn't get any work because he was labeled as uncooperative. He said he wasn't uncooperative. He said he just liked to speak his mind, and sometimes that rubbed people the wrong way. After Hondo was canceled, Taeger only made 5 TV appearances, the last time in 1983, as a character Brimmer in the Rocket's Red Glare episode of Father Murphy, starring Merlin Olsen. It was a TV Western series, a spin-off of Little House on the Prairie. His film appearances were few, but included roles in X-15 in 1961.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Nothing.
Don't give me that, man. I've been watching these last weeks, straining, pushing yourself.
Don't give me any speeches, Ernie. I've heard all I want to hear.
You're not to blame, Matt. The investigation showed that.
Investigation, that's fine. What about the politicians on the sideline and some of the press squeezing at DePalma and Brewster? You'd think this whole thing were going on in a dark cave somewhere.
You can't cram this stuff down somebody's throat, man. It takes time.
Yeah. Well, how much time does it take to show that this isn't routine? Lee had plenty of time to reject and didn't. That's routine, is it?
Don't think I haven't been asking myself questions, too. It isn't any good, man. I'll tell you one thing, though. If Lee knew what we were blubbering about, he'd probably laugh at us both.
The Carpetbaggers in 1964. Staged to Thunder Rock, 1964. House is Not a Home, also in 1964. The Delta Factor in 1970, and The Hostage Heart in 1977. After he retired from acting, he came up here to Placerville and started his own firewood business. It's still in operation. I understand that his son owns it. Some people have approached Linda and wanted to talk to her about her husband, but she's declined, so we're not even going to try. And she also lives up here in this beautiful part of California. He passed away here in Placerville, March 11th, 2015. I understand that he had a lengthy illness. I'm not sure what it was, perhaps cancer. He died here at a local hospital in Placerville. So I think right now what we're going to do is try to find the grave of Vladimir Spider Sabich. A very interesting story if you don't know anything about his life and his death. His death captivated the United States. Spider Sabich is buried over in this section of the cemetery, the Park Creek section of the cemetery. Beautiful day in June. I had to go in the office and ask where Spider Sabich is buried because I couldn't find him. She said that over in the 6 years that she's worked here, that a lot of people have asked about his grave. This really is a beautiful cemetery, very park-like, very green on this beautiful June afternoon. So we're going to go over here in the Park Creek section, and I was instructed to look for the grave after the 3rd purple tree up here. So we'll just follow the road and then drop down in there, and that's where he's going to be. Spider Sabich was quite the celebrity in Aspen, Colorado in the 70s. He was one of the premier skiers. And here's the 3rd tree. So Spider is over here somewhere. Gonna look for a small marker. Just not seeing it. A great marker, she said. 3rd tree. I might just have to.
Yeah, just if you can get her to give you a map,
then I can look at the map and I can see, you know,
Okay.
who he's next to or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, I'll go ask her. Gentleman back there helping me trying to find the grave has never even heard of Spider Sabich. Oh, he found us. Oh my gosh. I think this lady was way off in her description of where this was. She was way off.
Yeah, she's off. That's what I'm saying. I know where most of the graves are in here, you know, just by putting the stones in, you know.
Yeah,
stones or
sure.
whatever, but, you know, if she says it in a certain area, then I have to look in that area, and then, you know, I just follow my way back. That's why I said if you would have got a map, I could have seen that who was in there, Betty and
Right.
Drew, and, you know, we could have went from there.
Okay.
You know, so.
And that's his parents right there.
Oh, this is his parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you should read up on this.
Most likely I will now since you
YouTube has a whole series on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was Andy Williams,
and it was,
wife?
yeah, she had a French
Were
wife.
they having an affair or something, or?
No, they were together, but he was wanting to break it off with her. She shot him in the back in the bathroom.
Right.
And she said that the gun accidentally went off
or whatever.
And it was a manslaughter case.
Right.
And basically they found her guilty. I think it was first-degree manslaughter. But she didn't serve any time.
Stop playing.
But she was this French singer. She was pretty and
yeah, right.
She wasn't really that
kind of pull or something.
She wasn't that talented.
Right.
But all of Aspen, Colorado got pissed off because she got away with murder.
Yeah. Wow.
Deliberately.
So I got to read up on that. It ain't
yeah.
Savage. Okay.
Yeah, he went by Spider.
Right.
Because he, when he was a kid, he had long, spindly legs. And stuff.
All right.
And his dad called him Spider.
Right.
But he became an Olympic skier.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up on that.
Thanks so much.
You good?
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Man. Okay, take care.
Spider Sabich, Vladimir Peter Sabich Jr. 1945 to 1976. U.S. Olympic ski team, 1968. U.S. downhill champion, 1968. World Pro Ski Champion, 71 and 72. And the Olympic rings. Sister, Mary, died in 1988. She was a doctor. Vladimir was her dad. He was a member of the CHP, California Highway Patrol. He had volunteered in World War II as a B-25 pilot in the Air Force. He was held as an internee in Siberia by the Soviets for a year after his plane was shot down over northern Japan, and he was forced down near Vladivostok. After the war, he became a test pilot and returned to his job with the CHP, and in 1950 he was transferred to Kybers on Highway 50 southwest of Lake Tahoe. That's the road that we came in on. They lived in Kybers. This is his mother, Frances E. Sabich, 1911 to 2003. So the three Sabich children, Mary, Spider, and Steve, learned to ski at the local ski resort about 20 kilometers up the highway here, past Twin Bridges. They attended a one-room school in Kybers, which was Silver Fork Elementary, and went to class in the summer and skied during the winter. What kid wouldn't want that? Spider was also an altar boy at the Catholic Church across the highway from the ski area, which is the Chapel of Our Lady of the Sierras. They would often strap on their skis immediately following Mass. So Sabich was popular because he was good-looking, he was talented, he was a bachelor, and he was the talk of the town of Aspen. He landed in Aspen in 1971. He built a house next to John Denver, actually. He helped popularize skiing in the 1960s and 70s, and I understand that he was inspiration for a Robert Redford movie portraying a skier.
Spider Sabich has won his first giant ball competition of the 1972.
Howdy, Spider. How you doing?
Pretty good, John. How you going?
Not bad at all.
Hey, how fast is your cut?
Oh, it gets down the mountain pretty well.
You want to race to the bottom?
Being a rich bachelor, somebody who was good-looking, famous in Aspen, he attracted the attention of Claudine L, who was the ex-wife of singer Andy Williams. They eventually moved in together. There were some indications that she was just stifling him and he was wanting to break it off, and she was having nothing to do with it. In March 1976, he was in the bathroom. He was shot in the back. She said the gun went off accidentally, but there was some indications that she tried to fire the gun multiple times. The community of Aspen was just fed up with the media attention, and it was said that the sport was that they would try to run over the photographers with their cameras because they just didn't like the attention. It just brought on kind of a nasty element to their ritzy community. A lot of people thought that Claudine L got away with murder because the evidence just didn't add up. I know that the police actually lost the ability to show in court that her diary, which they said was illegally obtained, that diary showed that she was upset about the fact that Spider wanted to break off the arrangement and get her out of his life. They also took evidentiary blood draw from her. I guess they obtained that illegally, which was not admissible in court. According to prosecutors, the blood sample showed the presence of cocaine in her blood, and her diary reportedly contradicted her claim that her relationship with Sabich had not soured. As they were unable to cite any of the disallowed material, prosecutors did use the autopsy report to suggest that when Sabich was struck, he was bent over facing away, at least 6 feet away from L, which would be inconsistent with the position and relative distance of someone demonstrating the operation of a firearm.
Claudine L has been convicted of negligent homicide, a lesser charge than the one on which she was tried.
This morning, Judge George Lohr told the jury that if Miss L believed the gun's safety catch was on at the time of the shooting, she is not guilty of reckless manslaughter. Defense attorney Charles Weedman told the jury that Miss L did believe it was on, and that the one remarkable fact in this case is that the safety did not work. The 7 men and 5 women of the jury went out to lunch at 12:30 Aspen time. They began deliberating about an hour later. Their deliberations took about 3.5 hours. When they announced their verdict, Miss L showed no emotion. She faces a maximum penalty of 2 years in jail and a $5,000 fine.
Earlier, Claudine L was sentenced for killing Spider Sabich. Miss L was given 2 years probation for the killing of Sabich. However, she was ordered to serve 30 days in jail. The judge told her she could serve that 30 days in jail anytime between now and September 1st. Her lawyers say she will appeal.
A lot of people thought that she got away with murder and gave the town of Aspen a black eye. After the criminal trial ended, Savich's parents filed a civil lawsuit against L in May of 1977. The case was eventually resolved out of court with a proviso that L would never tell or write about her story. I don't know that there's many people here. Placerville would remember him. In fact, the caretaker that helped me find this grave didn't even know about him. So he said he was going to look up the story. Quite a sensational story, and it was quite a media spectacle for the community of Aspen, who didn't want that kind of a negative publicity. But they brought his body all the way here to California to be buried. While Claudine did not attend the funeral here in California, she did attend a memorial service with ex-husband Andy Williams, and it was very awkward to say the least. So I want to thank you for helping us remember 2 individuals that are buried here in the cemetery in Placerville: Vladimir Spider Sabich and Ralph Taeger, the TV actor. And by the way, the lady in the office didn't even know who Ralph Taeger was. So that tells you, in just the span of 30, 40, 50 years, well, maybe it's closer to 60 years, he's kind of been forgotten as well. But I want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode of History Hunters. We would always appreciate a comment, a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We would thank you so much for doing that.